This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
White trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
It's him and Robert Earl Keen. I don't
Hey
really know his
guys,
music that much.
welcome to Friday. I'm
Friday,
sorry to interrupt you there,
Friday,
but we were talking about
Friday.
concerts. We were talking about.
Blah. Yeah,
Oh,
concerts
by the way,
are
I'm
too.
Mike, and welcome to Bois.
And
this
I am
is
rusty still.
they're still Rusty.
Yeah, still rusty.
We were talking about concerts, and he said that he went to the Tyler the Creator
Yeah, Tyler the Creator
show
concert.
that was really good. And then you said next is Willie.
Yeah, I go to Willie Nelson.
Where at?
New Braunfels New Braunfels.
The July thing?
Yeah, it's in April. New Braunfels.
Okay.
And then Post Malone and Jelly Roll in May
Oh yeah.
in Dallas.
That's cool.
At AT&T. Yeah.
I stopped going to concerts at big places. You know, I've been to a ton of them at large arenas and stuff, and it's just, to me, it's not worth the price of admission anymore.
Yeah.
I
won't go to too many
yeah,
of them.
you've got kids, which
Yeah, well, you can't get intimate venues with some of the people
absolutely,
that my kid wants to go see.
absolutely.
I personally would rather the local music, smaller regional bands.
Mhm.
You know, I don't have to go to a stadium to enjoy
No,
a concert. I think it takes away from the intimacy of the experience when you're sitting 4 floors up and you're just
I
looking
like
at
the
it.
smaller shows. Yeah. I mean, if I can go to a place where there's 200 people, that's probably plenty for me. At
Yeah,
that point,
well, there
you
was a
know.
lot there at the Moody thing. We
Oh,
were
yeah,
looking
that's
down into the pit,
entirely
and
different
I
thing.
told my son, I said, "Do you want to do that next time?" And he, even at his age, was like, "I don't know that I want to go down there and do that," because there was like people passing out, and I was like, "I know we're kind of we weren't like super high up, but we're kind of up there in the middle of it," and I was like, see how much better show it is up here, how much more you could
Yeah.
see of everything.
Yeah.
Like, because there was 2 stages, and at one point they lower this catwalk down, and he's in the middle of the catwalk, and they lift the catwalk up and he's like stomping up and down the catwalk while he's doing his music. And I said, see where you're at now, see how much better. Over 3/4 of the show was done on the catwalk and on the second stage. And then he opened the show on the main stage and closed the show on the main stage, but everything else was pretty much done in between, where we had a better line of sight for anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think next time I want to get him down in a pit somewhere with some artists.
The next thing I'm going to see, I think, is Fred Armiston. The
Okay.
guy that was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He does a tour. He's a drummer, and he's a big musician, and so he does this tour where he goes around and he plays drums and he tells jokes and stuff like that. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I want to try to
It'll
go
be
see a
at
Kill
Emo's
Tony
in
show, but
Austin.
man, the tickets for it are just so hard to get.
Really?
I've tried. You got to be on top of it because they sell out so fast,
Yeah.
and they book out months in advance,
Yeah.
and they sell so quick.
There's a band, and I know this is what you guys tuned in for, but there's a band up in the New York, New Jersey area called the Boojums, Boojums.
Yeah.
3 people, guitar, bass, drums. I really like them, and I was able to get a hold of them.
Oh yeah.
They just kind of showed up in my feed, and I was able to get a hold of them and ask them if they were coming to Texas, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't have any plans right now," because they only have 3 songs out.
Yeah.
But I was able to get them for an interview. So Sheridan's going to do an interview with them. And
Oh, that's
just
cool.
occasionally when I find these bands like this that just pop up out of nowhere, I try to get in touch with them as soon
What
as I can.
podcast does she do with music?
She does something called Sheridan's Soundcheck Sessions,
Oh, cool.
where she just interviews random bands and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's this last Monday we started the Central Sounds recordings. That means that we are at Central Goods over here at 18th and Franklin, and we're going to be doing like tiny desk type concerts over there.
Oh, that's cool.
Little 2 songs a pop.
Yeah.
I think she's got about 12 bands lined up already.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
All different kinds of music, so that'll be kind of cool to watch. Okay, so this last week we lost somebody.
Yeah.
And that was George Foreman.
The novelty grill guy.
Yep. 74, 76,
Something like that. Yeah, he's up there.
Let's play a little clip real quick.
So if you like your food lean, mean, and tasty, don't forget to pick up one on your way out.
Mr. Foreman, sir, I know you don't know me, but I'd like a minute of your time.
You want a grill?
No, sir. I'm pretty well set for grills. I sell them for a living, along with propane and propane accessories.
Good man. What can I do for you?
Well, my niece Luann challenged your daughter to a boxing match, and she's not even in Frida's league. But I haven't been able to bring myself to tell her that. So I was thinking if you guys can drop out of the fight, Luann won't get her feelings hurt, or her face hurt for that matter.
I respect that you want to protect your niece. You know I didn't want my daughter to become a boxer. Neither did Mohammed. But Joe Frazier, on the other hand, he had his baby girl boxing in the crib.
So you'll cancel the fight, champ?
You got it.
Thank you. You're acting just like I'd expect a gold medalist to.
Hey, maybe there's something you can do for me. How'd you feel about carrying my grill in your shop?
Oh, sorry, we have a strict policy about that. No novelty grills.
Novelty grill?
Yeah, you know, no offense, but your grill is kind of like an iron.
You calling my grill an iron? I've been hit below the belt before, but nothing like this.
I think it's a great product for dieters or little girls who want to play barbecue, but you can't compare it to a propane-powered grill.
Fight's on!
What? No.
I said fight's on. What's the matter? Smelling all that propane cause you brain damage? That's what it does, you know.
No, that is not accurate. Those studies were all done on sick monkeys. And at least my grill isn't sold in housewares.
Let it go, Daddy. He ain't worth it. You're right. George 3, get this man out of my face.
From what I understand and what I've always heard, George Foreman was a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I've never heard anything bad about it.
People don't say bad things about him. He was fantastic on King of the Hill. You know my favorite part of that clip right there?
What's that?
Is the Chuck Mangione music playing in the background.
Oh, you can hear it playing. Yeah, you can barely hear it, but it feels so good. Yeah,
it's piped in the
They use it a lot in the show, yeah.
But George Foreman, again,
oldest
great
heavyweight
guy.
boxer ever, right?
Yep, one of the best ever.
Didn't he hold the title as the oldest ever to hold it?
So.
I think.
Yeah. But we lost him this last week, and I mean, what are you gonna do about it? You can't really do anything other than say he was a great guy. So anyway, he's got 5 more kids named George Foreman, if that helps.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Shades is your trusted partner in stage lighting, offering a wide range of high-quality, innovative products since 2015. With designs that cater to all needs, fast delivery, and affordable prices, we provide exceptional customer service to ensure your satisfaction. With warehouses across the globe and sales in over 100 countries, Sheds is quickly becoming one of the most recognized names in the stage lighting industry. Visit shehds.com today to discover top-tier stage lighting solutions and become part of our global network.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
And now, back to our show.
All right, so I have a little article here posted by Lone Star Live. These are the same folks that had the article about us.
Yeah, awesome.
This is by Taylor Kemitz. I'm
Same
sorry,
person.
Taylor, if I'm not saying the name
That's
correct.
the same person.
Same person?
That's the one that
Okay.
I reached out to. I'm in contact with.
This was March 21st, 2025. This article is entitled King of the Hill Fans Can Prep for Rebooting by Decoding Unintelligible Words of Creator's Character. So it's very short. It's just one little page here. It says, did you know there's a way to make sense of the seemingly nonsensical gibberish of a fan favorite King of the Hill character utters? You can do it just in time for the reboot. Mike Judge, the co-creator of the animated series, is gearing up for its long-awaited revival, is a jack of many voice acting trades. His ability to create varying voices for characters like Hank Hill and Boomhauer in King of the Hill is proof. But to better prepare for personality traits and quirks of adult Bobby Hill in the revival, rewatching episodes from the first 13 seasons only makes sense. All of the characters on the show, including Hank Hill's oddball group of neighborhood besties, help shape Bobby into the professional chef he apparently becomes in the reboot. The only issue is that Hank's friend Boomhauer often speaks unintelligible sentences, making it hard for viewers to grasp what he means quite literally any time he speaks. But it turns out Judge isn't mumbling a bunch of nonsense, and Boomhauer actually has a script of sorts. To follow along and get inside Boomhauer's mind while watching King of the Hill, just turn on closed captions. Whenever Boomhauer speaks, it'll show the words he's actually saying that many have missed over the years. That is the entire article. But I think it's a really good point that if you will start turning the captions on, folks, you will find all kinds of little Easter eggs in not only King of the Hill, but other shows. There's
That's why I watch everything with subtitles.
Yeah. Well, there's
everything I watch with subtitles.
There's that famous
I don't care
one,
what language it's in.
There's a ton of those famous memes where it's like eats in Spanish or something like that, and that kind of stuff. Those kind of things just thrill me whenever I see those come up.
Yeah.
But to see what Boomhauer is actually saying, yes, your closed caption will help you out quite a bit. Now, talking about voices that Mike Judge does, I have been watching
Common Side Effects. Yeah.
And I think I've spotted at least 3 characters that he does the voice for.
He does the one for the guy who owns the pharmaceutical company.
He does it for the main pharmaceutical guy. He is the CEO of the pharmaceutical company.
Who just games randomly and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like a video gamer.
He's playing he's playing one of the Facebook games where he's got a goat that he puts roller skates on and stuff.
Yeah.
But this show is very different from what I expected. I have been, I guess, quote unquote, sick the last few days. Had a thing done to my back, and I've just been kind of laying around. But in that time, I've sat there and I've watched a bunch of stuff. And one of the things I've been watching, and I think I've got one episode to go, is this Common Side Effects. I expected it to be like a wacky, King of the Hill type show. It is not. It's almost
jokes
drama.
Are more subtle, yeah.
It's almost drama.
Whatever jokes there are it's very subtle. Yeah.
A lot of great voices, a lot of great characters in this thing. It's really well done. Now, it's a weird type of animation where it's like almost every other frame or something like that, where it's a little herky-jerky feeling. But you get used to it after a while. And some of the stuff that's done in it, like the glowing of this and this thing doing that, really quite forward thinking as far as this stuff goes. Now, some of the pieces in this remind me, and tell me if you ever watched any of this. Did you ever watch any of the Behind the Tour Bus stuff he did? Mike Judge did?
You talking about the animated music stuff? Yeah, I've seen some of it.
Some of it feels a little like that, in that it's gotten to where in some of this animation you get more realistic type drawings in some frames. The only thing I can compare it to, and this is silly, but the only thing I can compare it to is Ren and Stimpy. You remember when Ren and Stimpy, like, if somebody had a sore on their face, they would get real tight, and you'd see all the
little bumps
stuff,
and hairs
right?
and
You'd
stuff
see
like
everything,
that. Yeah.
right? Whereas the regular animation would just be regular animated cartoon looking stuff. This is kind of the same thing, but at one point, the two agents that are assigned this case, they are talking about this corridor of killings that have happened in Texas, of mass shootings.
Yeah.
Which, not super funny, but they talk about Colleen being one of the first ones ever.
At the Lubies?
At the Lubies,
Yeah.
Yep. I did not realize that was one of the first ones, but then you go up.
This was one of the first major ones, yeah.
Yeah. Then you go up 35, and then you get to Waco, and you get to Oklahoma City, and you get, I mean, there's so many along that little corridor there.
Austin, too. Austin.
Yeah, he talks about Dealey Plaza. Not Dealey Plaza, but he talks about the shooter in the tower.
The Austin Watch, the clock tower or whatever.
Yeah, which all of those are very realistic looking drawings that are in there.
Oh, they also had that one at Fort Hood, too.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned the one at Fort Hood. But they're talking about like where they're going to be sent next. And it's funny because this show does not all take place in Texas like Mike Judge usually does. You know?
It's a little sporadic.
Yeah, it's New York, it's this, it's there, it's all over the place. But which I like to see it spread out. I'm not a big fan of New York-based shows, whereas I'm also not a big fan of like LA-based shows, because it's all they seem to talk about.
There's more to America than those two coasts.
I'd much rather see something that happens in middle Minnesota, you know, or whatever, right? Which I've been watching Fargo, so that's why I brought that one up. But it's funny, though, because you know that the influence of Mike Judge is, let's talk about the shootings, but let's talk about them all in this corridor.
Yeah, the corridor that he lives in,
Yeah.
Because he's an Austinite.
Yeah, he talks about Austin, talks about Waco, talks about Colleen. And then, of course, Oklahoma City, and then how the guy in Oklahoma City was enamored with what happened in Waco, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. So, but it's a very good show. If you guys have Max, go try it out. It's not a bad show at all. I am enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it like I thought I would, which I thought would just be a few jokes here and there. But the show in and of itself is very well done. Very well done. Have you seen any of it?
I watched the first episode. I haven't watched any more of it than that.
I didn't know it's all Adult Swim who produced it.
Yeah.
So even though it's like 20-something minutes per episode, you know, these are actual episodes. These aren't like your...
Well, Adult Swim's got longer shows.
Well, that's
on
what I'm
there.
saying. These aren't like your 12, 15-minute, you know...
animation shorts.
Yeah.
Most animation is 12 minutes long. That's the world they live in for a lot of their stuff. And that's why you've got like they used to do with like Dexter's Lab, and even the Rugrats did it, where they would have 12 minutes, and then that would be that
have
episode.
Like 2 of them per.
And they would do a 30-minute time slot, but they would only have 2 episodes of the show, back to back kind of thing.
Yeah, I am.
Or they would have. They would have 12 minutes of one show, and then like 6.5 minutes of 2 other random ones that's inside of that show. Like, what was it? Dexter's Lab had the Justice Friends or whatever it was. It was like a cut cartoon in between Dexter's Lab.
Yeah,
they would have stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, shit. Even the Simpsons. You know, they'd have the Itchy and Scratchy every
Itchy
once
and
in a while
Scratchy
to break
stuff.
it up.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But anyway, if you haven't watched that, please go watch it. It was. It's been very good. I've been super surprised as to the way this show is made.
Or with Two Stupid Dogs, they brought Secret Squirrel and Morocco Mole back. So in between segments for that, they would do that.
Good to see you. Black Ant's here. Artie's still here. Good to see you guys. That's really all we got for a Friday this week, guys. Do you have anything else that has come up in the last week or so that you want to refer to?
I've been watching a lot of World War II movies.
World War II movies.
I found a list on Reddit. So a guy had taken most, not all World War II movies, but like most of them that are based on something factual.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being, fact-based fiction.
Right.
Most of them are like actual stories or slight dramatizations of actual stories, and I've been watching some pretty good movies. I've watched some French foreign films and stuff, and Czechoslovakian. So that's what I recommend. Like if you're watching all these World War II films, go find that list. And
Black Ant says Cow and Chicken has I Am Weasel, which
I Am
was one
Weasel.
of my favorites.
I Am Weasel. That was the one I was trying to think of too.
Great.
Yeah, I Am Weasel.
Yeah.
But the way he's got the list set up is he breaks it down by like major events, and then he'll list as many movies as he could find in those events. So some of them it's like the invasion of Austria or the invasion of Czechoslovakia or stuff like that. A lot of those stories are told better by the people that lived in because there's like American-made or British-made films that are made about the Czechoslovakia thing or the Polish invasion thing or whatever, but they were actively making movies in the 40s and stuff right after all that stuff just happened. They were making these movies about it.
Right.
So a lot of those movies, and then even the newer movies that are, within the last 30 years, when I say newer, the ones that are done in those places just seem to be better. Like the movies that are made in Czechoslovakia about Czechoslovakian issues are better. My whole point is just because a movie you have to read the subtitles or maybe watch a dubbed English version of it on a streaming website, don't give a movie a chance. I've watched a lot of good movies that way.
I'm a big fan of found footage stuff.
Yeah.
I like creepy, weird found footage horror stuff.
Yeah, I like that stuff too.
I watched one last night called the Ulster Haunting, the Haunting of Ulster, or something
That's
like that.
Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Ulster's.
an Ireland. It's basically an Ireland tribute to something called Ghost Watch that was made. I think it's 90s. That was supposed to be 70s or something like that. But and I'm a huge fan of like Hell House, the Hell House LLC movies. We've been able to talk to some of the directors and actors the director and some of the actors and stuff from those movies, and there's a new one coming out. So I'm looking forward to maybe popping that sucker back up. But anyway, I watched that Ulster one yesterday, and it was fine. It wasn't the best thing I've ever watched. But you know what? Here's what I think about all of those found footage movies, especially the ones that you find on like YouTube or whatever. And by the way, Casey said that there's some channel out there now, there's an app that you can get on Roku that it's just found footage stuff. It's like $40 a year to watch all of the found footage stuff ever.
The one I watch has got a bunch of weird stuff on it. It's kind of like found footage, I guess. It's called Eternal Family TV.
Yeah.
And it's full.
I've seen that.
It's like $7 a month. Yeah,
and it's weird as hell.
Yeah, it's like $7 a month. It's kind of set up to where they have like a channel that just streams stuff randomly that you could just click and watch idly, or you could select through their content. But that's had some pretty weird shit. Animation, because they put a lot of stuff on there. They put animation, documentaries, movies.
It feels
short
very
films.
much like almost like a what do you call those channels that you could go in and pay $50 and make a show? The like community access channels kind of thing, where they just show a bunch of stuff.
Well, yeah, I'd say similar to that, but what Eternal Family TV or whatever has a lot of is just really, really, really obscure media, and some of it is
public access. Yeah,
has popular people who are popular now. Might not have been when they made the movie,
yeah, sure,
but it was like Tom Hanks in that D&D movie that he did.
Yeah.
Like nobody would ever know that.
Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
Yeah, nobody would ever think to see Tom Hanks in a
what's his name? Jack Sparrow in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his first one. So here's most of the information I get, and I know this has nothing to do with King of the Hill, but I'm telling you guys anyway because you're my friends. So I go to r/found footage on Reddit, and they have lists, and I try to go down those lists and kind of watch what people talk about. There is one called Lake Mungo that people will bring up a lot. Lake Mungo is a bad movie, but for some reason people love it, and I don't understand it because it's really slow and it's really bad. I enjoy Hell House. I like all of them. I think the last one was probably the best one because it's like a prequel kind of thing. But I really enjoyed Blair Witch, of course. Scared the shit out of me when I was a kid or when I was an
Blair
adult,
Witch was
honestly.
rough.
Paranormal Activity, I think the first couple are really, really well done. See, Black Ant, you say you like Lake Mungo. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But, hey, that's what found footage is about, right? There was one on here I was going to talk about. Troll Hunter. If you haven't seen Troll Hunter, please go watch Troll Hunter.
Here you go. Here's
very well done. Very well done.
The lost footage iceberg at the very bottom here. August Underground series, Guinea Pig Devil's Experiment, Guinea Pig 2, Flower of Flesh and Blood.
Guinea Pig 2.
That's funny.
Cloverfield, of course, is one of my favorites.
Yeah, those are
Cloverfield's got a big budget, so that's
the
a
top
little
ones.
different.
Apollo 18.
And then some of the VHS stuff is pretty good. I like the VHS stuff because it's anthology based.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did. Rusty says he likes the name Mungo. I did see that
I've never seen that one.
there's a new trailer out for a new season of Black Mirror, which that excites me quite a bit because I do enjoy all of the Black Mirror. Even the last ones I thought were good, like the one where the lady's trapped in Netflix. I thought was pretty good. So anyway, there you go. Just a little bit extra for you. If you have some found footage stuff you really like, send it to us. I would love to watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch
I wouldn't
anything.
mind doing a show just on found footage stuff. I thought it'd be kind of cool. But that's all I got. Thank you again, guys, for being here. We appreciate it. We mentioned I Am Weasel. We mentioned Lake Mungo. If you can't get that and you're in every show, then make
Train
sure
to
you only tune into this
Busan
one.
was pretty rough. Have you seen that?
Which one?
Train to Busan.
Yeah, that one's pretty
that was
rough.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Taking of Deborah Logan is pretty good.
Whenever I was doing the stuff for, I can't remember the name of their podcast now. What's the name of the Scary Movie podcast?
Boobays?
Yeah, Boobays. I wanted to say something. I knew it was Bay something. I just didn't know what the first part was.
Thanks, Rusty.
They did a couple. They did one that I watched because whenever I was helping them out with their social media stuff,
Yeah.
I was watching the movies that they were watching. There was one called Something Megahertz.
Yeah,
and it was just
I
about
remember
like
that.
a specific frequency.
About that sound, that drives
Man.
everybody nuts.
But the thing that was driving me nuts is I would just randomly hear that sound and certain thing. I would be listening to something or something, and I'd hear that specific frequency, and I'm like, "Whoa!"
I
it
told
made
you,
me feel weird.
I told you I had the back thing done, right?
Yeah,
And so I'm laying on my chest while they're digging into my back.
yeah.
And they said, we're not going to knock you completely out for this because we want to kind of know that we're in the right position and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you. You have machines. Why don't you do it? But anyway, so they get me super high, and I'm face down. And at some point, I guess I went to sleep, right? And I woke up, and my nose had run onto the thing. And so I was a little embarrassed. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I fell asleep, and my nose ran on the thing. And they were like, don't worry about that. We're not worried about that part. They said the only thing we worry about is brownouts. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't even think about that, but I guess every once in a while somebody will shit their pants while they're being operated on.
Oh, that's rough.
And so I'm like, well, I guess if you put it in that context, I did really well. You know?
Yeah, you did really, really good. Yeah.
I didn't shit on the doctor, so there you go. Yeah, not
I think that would be cool.
High,
We don't have
definitely.
nowhere
Yeah.
where we could set up something like that for like a public view. Not you shitting yourself, but like a
That's a show.
I don't know.
Like operations?
No, like a weird movie night. Like do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to do that. We could do like a watch along kind of thing.
Yeah, where we do
Yeah.
a weird movie night.
Yeah, if you guys
whether
would be
we
up
do
for
it
that, I'd love to
whether we
watch
do
something.
it with these guys or we do it here locally and have
Yeah.
people come and watch something.
I'd love to do it with these guys because these guys show up.
We can do
So
it
it'd be-
here.
it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you guys have a movie you want to watch, maybe we start a poll or something where we have like
Because
5 or 6 of them.
we do have a Discord still. I just haven't shared it with the world. We do have a Discord where we could
That'd be
watch
fun.
movies and do that.
Yeah, I'd do that. All right, guys. Thank you again for being here on a Friday. We really appreciate it. Check us again on Monday. We will have a brand new episode. This last week we did season 7, episode 13. So we'll be moving on to 14.
Yeah.
And you want to tell them where they can find us?
You can find us at BWAAAKOTH, and that is on most social media. You can email us as well at BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com. And we still owe stickers and stuff, but I guess we really got to work on that. I've still got all the addresses and stuff. People that sent me their address. Also, if you haven't sent me your address, go to the YouTube, scroll down a little bit on the community page, and there's a link still there where you can send me your address and stuff.
Terrible people. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Wimatanye.
By the way, just real quick, and I'll get to you, Wimatanye. There is one called Cigarette Burns that was done by it's a famous director, and I can't remember who it is. But anyway, it was done for HBO for this anthology series they did. If you ever get a chance to watch Cigarette Burns, that one will creep you the hell out. It's very good.
Yeah,
it's not really a found footage kind of thing. It's more about angels and stuff, but it's very, very good. And by the way, for me as well, John Carpenter, thank you very much, Black Ant.
Yeah, I like John Carpenter.
Wimatanye. We'll see you guys.
Wimatanye, indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.